I just tweeted it out. We're live now. We'll give it a
Cool.
minute or two. I'm also gonna put the link in the Discord really quick. Did you hear me by the way just now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't know if I put like the
No.
wrong key.
No, you're good.
Okay.
How's the quality on the video? It should be okay.
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay, cool. So I was gonna say in the future we might be able to make it so it's set to I have my OBS capture or something like that, and then I just screen share that application. Just an idea rather than a Discord share. I don't think it matters too much. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, I was
Oh.
typing in the
Oh,
Discord
my
and I
bad.
didn't want to because when I push down V, it's just like V.
Oh.
So I felt
I
bad because I wanted to respond, but I'm like, I can't. I gotta write this really quick.
Oh, my bad. I was like, what's happening? Did I
No,
mess up?
I'm here. Don't
Okay.
worry. I'm
Yeah,
just
you're good. You're good. You're good.
just push the talk thing. I'm getting it. It's just
Uh,
I can't type and do it at the same time.
it's hard. It's hard to do it.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Just put a bunch of V's, you know.
It's true. We could do it. Could
For
do it.
sure, for sure. Da, 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 da. Oh, I also have the current topic thing here too, so that should help. Uh,
Hmm.
should I get any tunes going?
You could do something pretty low, just like quiet,
Ooh,
subtle.
I could do. There's this like. Oh,
Just the Dreamland theme at max volume.
of course,
Yeah.
the best thing. I think
Except
there's
all
this like
clap.
holiday Nintendo music, but
Okay.
I guess we'll talk about that a little bit, maybe. But the
Oh,
big
Nintendo.
N, I'll
Oh,
just.
Nintendo.
Oh, Nintendo. Okay, I'll put that on though because it's really chill. Give me
Hmm.
2 seconds.
I don't know. There's a lot that's been happening the last couple weeks. It's just kind of crazy. It's and not even the last couple weeks. I guess it's like I felt like when did this all start? Really, I guess like a month or two ago, where it's just been kind of all just everything at once. But I don't know. It's weird. I don't really even know where to begin with it. I guess like right after when was that? Um, the Rona Rumble like series that led up to
Yeah,
the summit. I guess that's kind of when it all really started to get out of hand.
dude, I know. The last 2 months have been absolutely like insane for me. Like,
It's
it's
been
kind of
crazy.
crazy. I also
Crazy.
I have the music going right now. If it's too loud or overshadows any of us, then let us know. Malort says, tell Andrew that he claims a hydrate, please.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know
yeah,
what
yeah.
that means,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. I got it. There you go. There you go, Flush.
oh, what's up, Flush?
Yeah. There you go.
It's kind of loud. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I need to add the posture check and then like the hydrate to like channel points. Those are both good.
Flush, how does it sound now? Is it better now? I tried to turn down the volume, and I turned up unsure on Discord. Let me know if that's better. What's the plan for today's talk? Well, we'll get into that in a sec. How's the audio, guys? Does it sound good? It's so low now? Okay. Give me a sec. I didn't... Here.
Yeah, I'll keep talking. Hopefully, let me know how I'm not too loud, and they just need to raise up Matt and then like music or something like that. Just let me know how I sound. Okay, tiny bit louder.
Is that better? It's also there's like a bunch of different songs here, so I mean, some of the songs might be louder than others.
Yeah, as
Toms,
long
thank
as-
you for the thank you for the follow, Toms. Sorry.
You're good. As long as like it's quiet enough that we can still like people can hear us over that, then I think it's fine.
Oh, I gotta
It's perfect. Nice.
put up
You
my
love to see it.
alert thing really quick. All right, give me 2 seconds and then we'll get into it. Also, let
Sure.
me know if the audios are good.
Cool. Yeah, while you're doing that, please inform me, guys, what tournaments are happening today. I think that there's an LRA start that has like 100+ entrants, which is kind of surprising. I mean, not super surprising. I guess LRA start usually gets a good amount of people. I know the Untitled yesterday got almost 100. I'm trying to think of what else
Yeah, it
is
got
happening.
99, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, and I think that there's one more event happening today, but I don't remember what it is. There was the TMT that happened yesterday. That was crazy.
Let me see. How do I turn myself up? Can I? On this?
Am I gonna stream if I
Wait,
enter
let
one?
me-
Tonight
I'll move the mic closer.
no, I don't think there's any more time to enter it tonight, but I would stream it normally. I think I will in the future. Just been pretty busy lately, and I just kind of wanted to focus on just playing and not really streaming. But after I've been ranked top 20 in the world, there's no point anymore. I might as well just stream it
Yes.
all.
Yes, the most pressing issue is, Unsure's new placement as the top 20 in the world.
That's right. That's right. It's just so
Hey.
free. Everyone's so easy.
Hey man, one day Chicago will be the top 10 in the world and also just top 10 in Chicago, so.
Crazy, crazy. Who was that? There was someone like that. There was someone that was like not ranked 1 in their region. They were ranked like 2 or 3, but they were like significantly higher on the top 100. Man, I don't remember.
Wasn't that Zane like a while back? Wasn't he like, there was a meme that he was like 4th in MDVA and then like he got 3rd
yeah.
at Summit or something, like Summit
Yeah, like
6 or something.
Chudette's always better than him, but Zane is like the best in the world. I don't remember what it was. It was something
Yeah, it
funny.
was so funny. Same with like, I'm pretty sure like the top 4 in Florida are like top 10 in the world. It's like insane.
Yep. Oh yeah, I forgot about Albert.
Oh yeah, he has the most
Yeah.
Smash World Tour points. Yeah, you're right.
Sure. He and I were just great gamers. That's it.
Dude, did you see Bobby Big Balls' too? He had like a billion points. I'm like, what the heck?
I have no idea how that happened.
Okay, I guess we could get started here.
Sure.
Let me know, guys, if I ever need to mess with the audio or turn up Unsure or turn myself up or whatever. So feel free to let me know. Does this turn up? No. Okay. Okay, I guess we could get started. Do you want to start out, Unsure?
Sure. Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot to touch on. Like I had mentioned, there's really a lot that I don't know. There's been a lot that's happened the last couple months, and I guess there's a lot of planned stuff for the next couple months. So it's pretty exciting to see kind of where we're at and like how it's looking, what's been going on. I guess the biggest things that we're really going to just touch on are, and the first thing we're going to touch on is the Smash doc that's coming out in a little over a week. Kind of something that goes hand in hand with that are the CLM Discord changes. Just because of the Smash doc and preparing for like newer players. Uncle Punch, there was just a brand new thing that was released today. If you have not checked it out, please do that. The free Nintendo, free Smash, like save Smash, everything like that. And then the Smash GG acquisition. Those are like the big topics. I mean, the other stuff that's not as super important to the everyday person, which are like Slippery Broadcast Mode, or even to some extent like the Ludwig LACS tournament, which is poised to be the largest prize pool of all time, kind of like at the rate it's going right now, which is absurd. So
I have a quick question about that actually. Is the prize pool for charity, like winner of that gets to pick a charity of their choice, or is it like literally like all those donations go to the players?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little confused on if like, oh, the winner gets to pick for like a charity of their choice, or however the money goes, they get to pick a charity, or if it's literally just
Oh,
the winner gets to pick the charity. Okay. I mean, still, that's really cool. And, you know, with Ludwig's just growing, him exploding, I think that's going to do a lot. It's also good timing because it's after the new Smash doc. So I'll bet that there'll be a lot of entrance to that. And I guess one of my questions is obviously I got into the scene after the doc. The first doc. Now it'll be funny to say the first doc.
Like Doc 1 or Doc 2, right?
Yeah. So I guess my question is, how big do you anticipate the growth in player base? Do you see it like maybe starting out like a little bit of growth and like exploding later on? Or how do you see... Because I do think it'll bring in new players, but I'm kind of just like a little skeptical in my head. But probably because I didn't live through the first doc, so I'm like, I don't know. But like, how do you think it'll grow, or like, how big do you think it'll be?
I think it's a hard question because like I started after my first tournament I entered was like late 2015 area, and then I really started to play in 2016, and then that's pretty much when I started. So I'm like the last era of like the new, like the doc kids, sort of kind of in that whole realm, because like after 2016 it's not really referred to as doc kids realistically. Like 2013 is when the doc came out, and then everything after that is technically post doc, but there was not really... I didn't join because of the documentary, right? But I the people that I joined because of the documentary. So I was like the wave after that. And it was a huge wave. Like even the people before me would have a better idea, like why they started playing, like Captain Face Roll, or trying to think of like truly doc kids in Chicago. Captain Face Roll is probably the biggest name. Fluid, I think, started at Evo 2013 at around that time. And I could be wrong. If he's in chat, please let me know. Azu, somewhere around that time. Like those guys, like that area of players, they all started around that time.
Hold on, I think the music's a little loud. It's hard because it's just like a mashup of songs, so like some of them is really loud. It's not like a playlist. Yeah, I think that's really interesting, actually. I think like you said, it's hard to say. Also, Toms, I have a question. You said there's 45k Slippy accounts. How do you know? Do they like have this like report or something, or like? Because I don't know. Like, I would be interested to see how many Slippy accounts get created post doc. I think that'll be interesting to see. But like, how do you know that? Because like that's really cool. Like, if there is a way to see, because I did not know that.
Oh yeah, I remember that tweet. Yeah, so that was. Yeah, that was an interesting statement.
Top 35,000 player right here, let's go.
It would be interesting to know those numbers, and I really would like those kind of metrics, but I don't know. I don't know what it really means. Like, and who knows what, like, just the sheer numbers of people like account registered. Like, think of every one player, right? They might have 2 accounts for whatever reason. Someone might make a Smurf or whatever.
Right.
They might make an account, forget the password.
Like, None. I mean, None probably just changes his username, but I'm willing to bet he has like 3 accounts. So.
Yeah, there's a good chance he does, right? Because like he doesn't want like people to know like the short slug of it, like to be whatever. Like Tom's, like you have 2 or something like that, right? Like I know I've made a handful, right?
Yeah, I only have 1, but yeah. So I would assume that it's probably less than obviously the number. So
right. But even going off that, it's like, I know you only have 1, Joseph, but like assuming everyone just has 1 or maybe even 2, like 20,000 is still an absurd amount of people playing the game at any given time, or have played Slippy since it released. So looking at it, like what was the first doc's effect on like local attending, like Fluid, if you have any insight, that would be great to hear from you, because EXP was the event, right? Like you'd have 100-person locals, like every Wednesday, 100 people coming out. But to be fair, I think that was like the only event, or like there were only 2 events kind of thing. Like there was 1 city event and then 1 suburban event, and that was it. That was all you had. And all the events had like all the games, so everyone just got together, but everyone kind of entered the other events as well. Geo actually might have some good insight. I know, Tommy, you've been playing for a while too. A little bit longer than me, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's also harder to gauge, the growth, just because obviously there's a pandemic and we can't really, have a local to be like, how many people will show up, that affects, everything. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see like post COVID what it does with the numbers. I still think it's interesting because Smash Summit 10, I was gonna say 5 for some reason, I don't even know. Smash Summit 10 had like 50,000 or so, a little bit above viewers. So it's like really interesting because I feel like Melee is one of the few esports right now that's actually doing well. And obviously, you know, the big N is, you know, Nintendo is trying to kind of undermine it. I just hope with Nintendo, I guess I don't want to digress too much because I guess we can talk about this later, but I just hope that they only mess with events that were previously sponsored by them and not like events that weren't sponsored by them. Like I'm sure Genesis is probably gone now, or other events. I heard Shine already, but you know, I'm hoping that Nintendo only goes after those sponsored events and doesn't touch anything else, but who even knows at this point.
Yeah, from the experience that I have, Nintendo will not mess with anyone that has not partnered with them previously. So it's like if you're an event at like a national level or somehow at a much lower level that has partnered with Nintendo, you're not going to be able to play Slippy. That you're just going to break the rules that Nintendo has given you. So just don't mess with them. But if you're, I don't know, for an example, I don't want to use specific names, but there are events that just have not partnered with Nintendo. There are events that have not partnered with Nintendo that could continuously run, Slippy events. Like, there's not stepping on any toes. So I think it'd be fine. So I think it was blown a little out of proportion, like in terms of like why people are upset. I don't think people understand. It's a lot more tantalizing and explosive to be like, I hate Nintendo because they stopped an event, even though it was contractually obliged to say, well, don't mess with Nintendo's product like that. So it's like if people knew that, the reason that Nintendo was mad was because they're essentially breaching a contract, I think they wouldn't be as upset as, how it was kind of displayed. I think it was kind of taken a little out of control. But I understand the frustration of being able to want to do it. If they would have done something like that to say like a summit or another event that was not partnered by Nintendo, I think we have a problem. But I think at this point, Nintendo pretty much just stays away from each other. They just stay away from the Smash community. They're like, we're not going to touch you. We're not going to mess with you. Just if you're going to partner with us, stay legal in that sense, right? Just don't mess around.
Yeah, because I guess at this point, I don't know if Genesis is still like partnered with Nintendo. I don't know what their contracts are, so I don't know if at this point Genesis is gonna try to dip out. I don't even know if Nintendo will let you. Who even knows what's going on with that? I think it sucks, and I'm super frustrated about it, and I get it. # free melee, # save Smash, but I'm also like, I'll be more concerned when Nintendo goes after tournaments that are not partnered by them. Because that means they're actively working for tournaments that aren't partnered with them, which is concerning because it means they're taking note of other events and they're trying to shut it down. So if they start doing that, that's a big alarm. That's like, oh shit, this is Armageddon. Like, we gotta go. And obviously it sucks about Big House and probably Genesis, I'm just speculating here, but it's, And I think, Tom's, you got a point. I think a lot of tournaments in the future are gonna see this and be like, okay, we're not gonna, deal with Nintendo, we're gonna steer clear, so it just,
I think it's complicated because like you want the Nintendo sponsorship for a lot of reasons. Nintendo doesn't give you a ton in return, but they're kind of like the Italian mob kind of thing, right? They're just like, you should be sponsored by us or you're gonna have problems. It's like, okay, I guess I don't have a choice. I guess I got to get sponsored by you. So from my experience, from what I've seen, is that they'll give you maybe some setups, they'll give you some monitors, but they don't give you a lot. They don't give you money. They don't give you prize pool funds. They don't fly out players. They don't do anything. They bring a booth. They say you can run our ads, and that's about it. And say you can play our content. So it's kind of like a racket in some way. Yeah, legitimacy is pretty much the only. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But I mean, it depends on what you're trying to acquire from that. Like, I know a lot of other sponsors don't want to work with Nintendo because they're just frustrating to deal with, as we saw from that one Twitlonger. I have no idea.
Shout out to Anonymous Smasher too.
Yeah, I have no idea what.
It was me.
It was you. Okay, it was me. It was everyone.
Yeah, it was all of us.
But it's kind of that part sucks because I know a lot of that stuff is pretty valid, but without a name behind it, it's really hard to be like, oh yeah, that person is credited to, exposing them. But
I
a lot
also
of that
don't
stuff is true.
I also don't blame them for,
No, you don't.
like being anonymous, because God forbid, because what if they do work at Nintendo and then they spilled all that?
Right.
And,
It's
it's hard because it's like, what's the credibility of it? And I think I believe it. I should switch the topic because now we're talking about Nintendo. Because I think, I think there's a lot of points because I've heard, like, I'm not gonna name names or anything, but like I've talked to some TOs and they told me before this came out that because there was a popular misconception that PM was cease and desisted, which isn't true. It was just what the Anonymous Smasher 2 said, that like that Nintendo said, oh, we want to join, but PM is a problem, so it's causing us not to. So some TOs were like, okay, for the greater good, let's ask PM to maybe have a shot with Nintendo. So like, I feel like the source is very credible because I've heard some of these things from reliable people that I trust, and so it sucks, and I hate the whole situation, and I'm so torn personally because Nintendo is some of my favorite games, man. I mean, Mario, Zelda, they got like all my favorite IPs, and then all of a sudden they're like, but we suck. So like, it's so frustrating, man. It's like, oh.
They're pretty frustrating to deal with in terms of like what they support and what they like won't support. They really want to be hands off. They're just like, we're gonna pretend you don't exist. If you want to run your stuff, you can. That's it. We're not gonna give you support, which sucks because I mean, if you compare like our numbers and our like just the demographic that like other esports want to capture, like Smash is like the perfect game. It has everything that like the game is in everyone's hands already. Like so many people have a Switch, or so many people had a GameCube previously. Like if you would, or like a Wii even, if Nintendo was just like, this is what the market that we want to capture, we're going to give some money to these grassroots TOs or whatever, even create or like hire these guys, then that's the best way to do it.
Yeah,
but
and Smash is super like universal. You can ask like many people. I could go to anyone at my college who barely plays any video games, and they ask, I'm like, oh, I like video games. They're like, what video games do you like? And I say Smash, and they're like, yeah, I know that one. Like it's such a recognized game, man. I mean, oh shoot, I just realized I was in chat and I was holding down V to talk.
You're fine.
So anyways, yeah, so I mean, it's so hard, and I feel like Nintendo's missing such a big opportunity, and even companies, like Anonymous Smasher 2 said, like ESL and Red Bull, it's like literally they're willing to put all the money in. All Nintendo has to do is sign off and give it the okay, and yet for some reason they just don't want it to happen, and I just don't get it, because it's like, I feel like they have such a big opportunity to grow, and I know they push like Splatoon and ARMS, but it's like the Smash community is so huge, and literally Nintendo's done next to nothing compared to all the other developers, and it's like, I feel like it's such a missed opportunity by Nintendo, but they just don't see it. And like, it's fine. I think I'm fine if Nintendo doesn't support us or whatever, because it's like, if they don't like competitive gaming, fine. But what I do have a problem with is then trying to indirectly sabotage by like making promises with the companies and then just kind of like ghosting them in a sense. That's what I have an issue with. So like,
I think there's a big disconnect, and this is a lot of stuff we'll never know, is between like Nintendo of Japan, Nintendo of America, and kind of how they feel about each other and how they feel about their respective scenes. Like, does like Nintendo of Japan want competitive Melee, or does Nintendo of America want competitive Melee, or does either side want it? Maybe one of them has said, hey, we want this, and the other side is like, nah, we don't want it, and they shut it down, right? Like that's the stuff we'll just never know.
I'm gonna.
And it's the unfortunate part of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna, switch my major. I'm gonna work at Nintendo, so I get all the insider information.
Yep.
Go to all their board meetings and figure out what the hell's up. Lobby.
I don't know. There's no really good way to do it besides like just a changing of the guard eventually. Like, I think at some point, one side will be like, okay, this is too big to ignore. Like CS:GO is a good quote by Gabe, like Gaben, like where he's like something like with like man, I wish I remembered it. He mentioned just mods. He's like, there's no point of like stopping these mods. It's like just support it, and it's like you can make money on top of those mods. Like you can make money on top of like all these different things. I'm just gonna find this quote.
Yeah, for sure. No, I get it, you know, it's like, and I guess the thing is, it's not like Nintendo's making copies of Melee and stuff, and it's like, if there was like a Melee HD or whatever, then I might get why they'd be so stringent on it. But like, you know, it's not like they're making money because all the copies have been, you know, sold or, you know, been sold to the gaming stores. So like, it's just like at this point, it's like, you're not really making any money off of it. And plus, people that watch Melee, it's not like they're not going to buy the new Smash game. I'm a huge Melee fan. I love Melee so much. And yet I buy all the Smash games because, you know, I'm Smash at heart, you know?
Right, like there's a Switch right. It's like literally the ultimate Switch is right there.
Yeah.
It's like I definitely like I support it. I support Smash in every ability like that I can. It's like I enjoy it. I'm always like supportive, and I get it. But
whether or not like I disagree with the new games or have problems with it, like I still Smash is Smash. You know, like I'm gonna support it, and I'm always gonna get the new Smash game. You know, I always gotta get it. So yeah, it's frustrating, and there's got to be some miscommunication or like some people just not getting it, and you know that's one of those things that we might never know, and it's very frustrating. And at this point, I guess, you know, there's no way Big House is coming back because they would have announced it by now. So like,
we'll see it next year.
At this point, it's just like, okay, as long as Nintendo doesn't start taking down other events that aren't associated with Nintendo or aren't partnered, then, you know, I'm like, okay, you know, just I think it's also just a warning sign for like budding TOs or anyone who wants to have a major tournament. Don't get in like try to avoid Nintendo at all costs, you know.
If you're gonna like run a major that has Ultimate involved, you pretty much have to have the Nintendo sponsorship for legitimacy. Otherwise, prices just kind of rack up just too absurd. Unless you're someone like, what are their name? Like where you can like you just have a plethora of like a community that can support it. Otherwise, it's just way too challenging. It's just way too hard. Like the Genesis of the world, they need it. The Evos of the world, obviously, they have to have it.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Right. Exactly.
But going back on that really quick, it's interesting to look at. And I don't have these contracts, obviously, but like if you look at the contracts of all these different majors, that's what's going to determine kind of the next couple of years to see what the community backs or not. And it would be interesting to see if obviously Genesis is going to say, you know, Nintendo is probably going to shut down an online event for them, right? So if Genesis can't run a Nintendo sponsored event on Slippy, and they say, okay, Nintendo, that's fine. You know, we're not going to have you as our sponsor when this contract ends. You know, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Or on the other hand, is like if Nintendo or if Genesis is like, we are going to have Nintendo as a sponsor going forward, how will the community receive something like that? Will it look like they're, you know, being backstabbed? Is it like, oh, we understand it was kind of like, oh, you need to do it, it's a business thing? I don't know. I have no idea.
I almost wonder if like sometimes tournaments don't want to be sponsored by Nintendo, or they know this crap can happen, but Nintendo's kind of like, this tournament's really big, and if you don't, then, you know, we could just shut you down. So it's like, I almost feel like they kind of in a catch-22, and it's like, well, I kind of can't say no, you know? So I wonder if, you know, behind the scenes there's some tournaments where Nintendo kind of knocks on their door and is like,
the racket, absolutely.
You either work with us or this doesn't happen. And, you know, of course they're going to want their tournament to happen, you know? And so it will be interesting to see, you know, or if new majors pop up, you know, if people are like, you know what, we might have to jump ship on some of the old majors. But then it also brings up, well, will Nintendo go after these new majors? Like, will they try to sponsor them? You know, this is only a time will tell kind of situation, and, you know, there's only so much we can do. And
it's also like the dream scenario too for any event organizer is to get that Nintendo sponsorship. It's like if someone handed you tomorrow, be like, we will sponsor Nintendo of America, like your idol company kind of thing, will sponsor you. There's not many TOs of the world that are as sturdy enough to say like, you know, absolutely not, unless you're like super strong backed by like the PM community, or you're pretty knowledgeable of what Nintendo will give you, which is almost nothing.
Right.
So
yeah, I know. So I do notice that we have quite a number of viewers right now. 8, but hey, it's a lot for me, so we take it. So I think, do you want to announce what's
just
up?
just the weekly. So we have weekly coming up. In case you guys want to check it out, here I'll just post it real quick in the chat. We have Moki signed up already.
Yes, we have,
which is pretty cool. Just pretty cool.
Yes.
Moki's regged. There are a couple other big names that have expressed interest. Hopefully we'll get a couple more top 100 players, but y'all should register. This is Moki's return. He is I don't think he's entered anything since, man, I don't know. It's been a minute.
The qualifiers for Summit, maybe?
It's been a couple months, and even before that he never entered anything.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see him starting to enter again.
So y'all should definitely register for that. I think that there's like this Peppy Monthly starting to go on
Monthly,
that supports. I don't know what time that's at, but if it's before, feel free to support it, or just try to support all the.
Is that the same day?
It is.
I didn't know that.
I think I don't know what time Peppy's at.
And that's okay, because we're not super finicky on double entering, especially if the bracket's not huge.
As long as it doesn't hold up bracket to an egregious extent, you could enter both. But if it holds up a side of bracket, that's when it's like okay. But so Moki's gonna be there, which is super cool. Super excited about that. So yeah, I'm super excited. We have a lot more. I guess we could talk about the Discord server now too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have a lot of stuff in the works here. Let me change the topic really quick.
It's cool. We've already started to roll out some changes. If you guys have not already seen them, please hop in the Discord, take a look. Just some small stuff, but they're really nice quality of life stuff.
Yeah.
It should be a more seamless process just in the future. I'm working on kind of a prettier user experience in terms of new players. So, which will be good just as going forth from the dock, as we expect to see more players and hopefully more players just in the Discord in general. We want that experience to be as streamlined and just pretty as possible. Just a nice new user experience overall. So there should be a welcome page that when you hit the page, it's greeted like, hello, these are the rules of the channel. Accept it, and then it tosses you into set your roles, and at that point then you can see the rest of the server where it has like an FAQ. This is where you get Slippy, this is get all your information, this is what Chicagoland Melee is. These are just kind of all the different things. This is who you can contact, tag this person if you have questions, blah 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 blah.
Right.
Tons of information.
Yeah, we're trying to make it, because we're anticipating a bunch of new people from the dock and stuff like that. So we're trying to get it ready for that in a sense. So we're also have, I forget if you mentioned this, sorry. We have emote roles now. So you could pick out some of the roles still are obviously, you can't just pick to be an admin or whatever, but there's some emote roles which make it much easier. So we're finalizing that, and then so no, you won't have to use the command anymore. I mean, you still can, but
I imagine we're going to remove that at some point, and just have exclusively React roles.
Right. We got rid of the regional roles because we kind of thought, it's not super important and it doesn't really tell you much, because obviously, with Slippy now you can play much further and stuff like that, so it's not super important. So we thought also a bunch of Unsure's ideas where we could also, because it's kind of fractured right now, the PR panel's in its own place. We have these other groups, so we thought let's just all put it in this central hub, and we're still gonna have the Facebook and stuff, and I think it's super good for IRL events and stuff, but we're really trying to clean up the server, make it much better, much easier to access, and get more people playing and stuff. So
right, you want that to be a hub for Chicago, right? As an extension of the CLM Facebook group, because there's going to be a point in which we just don't get that many people joining the Facebook group. And as an admin of the Facebook group, I already see that we do not get many people looking and hitting the Facebook page often. We don't get a lot. But I have some rules set up, so I don't see everyone that tries to request to join the Facebook page. There's some auto rules, if you're a part of 3 other connected groups, you'll automatically be added into the Facebook group or something like that. But it's a little weird, and is like, as the population just gets younger and younger that try to join, you're just not going to see as many people on Facebook in general. So capturing the Discord audience, or capturing, like, eventually at some point, like, a wider Twitter audience for CLM, I think is going to be really important.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll also be pinging at everyone just for the meantime. Dude, I only use Facebook for CLM. Like,
Facebook is just a CLM machine. That's all it is.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, I mean, it's a slow transition, obviously, and I don't want to. I guess Unsure could speak to this more, but at least personally, I don't want to see the Facebook go until we totally get everything going. And I think a lot of people still use Facebook more than Discord, and obviously, right. Unsure said a lot more new players are joining that are going to be younger are going to be Discord and not Facebook.
Yep.
So I think it just makes sense. Just pull the plug.
I mean, I'll never pull the plug, just because the legitimacy of having a group of 4K members just looks great overall, just for your scene, right? Like, it's pretty healthy. It's not super active as I'd like it to be, but it's okay because it's chugging along. But I think Discord is going to just be the future in terms of how we look at connecting.
Yeah. For sure. So yeah, I'm super excited about these changes. We've been working really hard. Unshure's working on the welcome page right now. Once we get that, we should be able. We might have to have everyone like I know in the why am I blanking? The Melee Online Discord, like, you have to read the rules and hit like the check mark or whatever to unlock everything else in the server. So we're working on that. So you might have to do that. But I think overall it's super important to also, especially new members, to see the rules and stuff. And so I think overall we got a lot of good changes, some cool stuff coming, and I'm super excited. Also, I forgot to mention, but the stream will be back this Saturday, because with spectator mode, I'll finally be able to get that going, which will help add a lot more legitimacy to the bracket as well. The reason why I hadn't is simply because it was very cumbersome to get all the ask all the people, can I have your Slippy VODs or Slippy replays, and then you have some people send you the wrong thing, so they wouldn't label it. It'd just be a pain. So now I'm gonna be testing that for the next day, and we should be streaming the bracket Saturday, which I'm super duper excited about. And obviously it might be rough, just because obviously there's some, it'll be a learning curve for me. But I think it's going to be super cool, and I super look forward to streaming it again. I missed it, to be honest. And
it's going to be fun. I'm really excited to see how the, how it works out. Because I haven't really seen the back end of it.
Yeah, I'm still figuring it out right now. I'm talking with one person who's helping me, so hopefully I get it figured out, and by Saturday I should be ready to go. So just be ready to I'll send a link, and then you put my link into you have to have the Slippy desktop app, and then you put my link in, and then I can spectate your game live, or puts your replays in a folder. It's super cool. This blows my mind. So I don't think I'll have much trouble, but I mean, obviously it's new, so it's okay, I'll
there's always a learning curve.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be tough at first, but I figured out the Slippy replays, so I think this will just make it way easier, and make it way easier for the players as well. So
I think so too. Yeah, I mean, it makes everyone's life a lot easier.
Yeah,
but sure. I think the only time where you're gonna run into a little bit of an issue is when someone's streaming and they don't necessarily are oh, I got to do this too, kind of thing. Then it's whatever. But
for sure,
I get it.
So yeah, super cool stuff in the works. So I'll announce the bracket later in the CLM Discord server. We might also, this is very infancy stages, but I'm also thinking about doing some sort of weekly net play ladder or something to encourage more people. And obviously that's it's infancy stages, just to encourage more of a community and more people playing on the server. So like I said, that's very in its infancy, but it might
I've got
come in
some
the
ideas
future.
too.
So
Yeah, I definitely have some ideas, like when when the doc does drop and when we do expect some more players, kind of thing. And even if we don't, I think it's a good thing overall. But just kind of like, just more training, more coaching for players at like lower level.
right.
Just talking about Melee and just being involved. So yeah.
Speaking
Yeah.
of training, I guess this is a good segue. We could talk about the new Uncle Punch that just dropped today.
Yeah, it's
Talk
pretty
about
crazy.
that. So for me, as kind of like a tech noob, I see this new Uncle Punch, and obviously it's still in like alpha or whatever, so they're working on it. So I'm kind of like, what does this change? So tell me, in case you know, like, or inform everyone too, like, what is it? How will it be beneficial? I mean, obviously there's some things I've noticed that I'm like, oh, this is cool, but like,
Yeah.
tell us why it'll be, important and stuff like that.
I mean, it's huge. Like, in my opinion, this is massive. This is what this takes, like, I don't even know how to explain it coherently, because like when I first started in like the 2016 area, 20XX had been around for a little bit, and my way into the game, I thought I was truly a pro player for turning on L cancel overlays in like 2016. I was like, I'm the
Oh my
greatest
God,
player
yeah.
ever. I'm like, this is amazing. I was like, I can see that I L canceled on this frame, or like I lowered my L cancel window to 3 frames instead of 7, so I could have like a tighter L canceling window, even though it doesn't matter. Like if I would have told myself now, I'd be like, well, of course, it's like you have 7 frames regardless. And L canceling earlier in the frames doesn't matter. But anyway, so it's like I turned on overlays, and I would learn like all these different ways to set up different replay states and lab scenarios. Now it's all like in the beautiful hands of like just a really nice looking interface. So I cannot, it makes it just makes it changes it from being difficult to use to being like, you just need to have a better understanding of how the game works in order to set it up. So like if you understand like how like a character works, you can set up replay scenarios.
Yeah, you might have
for
to
that.
teach me to do some of that stuff, because I've been
I mean,
meaning
it's
to
hard.
do some like interesting things. Like I've wanted to lab out like doing the Falco down air where it like trades with the Firefox, so like the down air, like it'll hit you back up towards the stage, sort of like a pseudo Armada shine.
Right,
So, like,
right.
I'm curious to do that, but I think it's so interesting to me because like with Uncle Punch, the doc, the LACS, like I think like there's gonna be such, honestly, it's been such a, even with the pandemic, I'd argue that this has been a really good year for Melee, just in terms of, because like if there wasn't a pandemic, would online have been pushed as far as it had? Would online tournaments be, with the Slippy developments and everything, like,
right.
we
don't know. But
yeah, for sure. But I feel like this has been just a crazy couple months, and I feel like, with all this, I think it's very possible we see a ton of new players jumping in because they, see all this new stuff, and it becomes more user-friendly. Because I remember, like last year I was talking with a couple friends and who played Melee, and we were talking about how do we make this more accessible to new players, because sometimes it can kind of seem intimidating. And I think, like, by putting in unranked mode, I mean, obviously unranked mode is not optimal, but like it's like much better than Smash Ladder, because you don't have to, try and surge people and have people salty at you. Yeah, I would agree with you, Fluid. I think it's a good year for Melee compared to other esports scenes, and so I mean, compared to Ultimate, we've had a really, really good year.
Yeah, because it's like the beautiful parts of Melee kind of really, shown through, right? Like the things that have just kind of, we've always had a strong community of people that have an almost sickening love for this game.
Yeah,
which is
I know, sometimes it disturbs me a little.
Whenever I see like a patch for Melee, I'm like, this is like insane. Like these people, the biggest part most likely about the new Uncle Punch change is that now the code is accessible for anyone. If you can code, you can probably start to design portions of this training pack.
And it just blows my mind. I feel like we all have to be insane playing this. Next year it'll be 20 years old. I mean,
I know
the game's as old as I am.
I know.
Not trying to make anyone feel old, but it's just like it's crazy that this human being right here is a couple months younger than a video game. Yet I'm playing it because I love it so much. So like, I don't know. It's just I feel like we're all insane, but I love it. Like
there's a lot.
I've never seen a community so in love with a game before, and it's so cool. It's such a breath of fresh air when all you see on other communities, I'm not trying to trash other communities, but when they're like, oh, nerf this character or whatever, then Melee players are just like, we love Melee even though it's dumb sometimes, but it's awesome. So
well, it's cool because I think we've already experienced those phases. Like we have gotten over the bump that was that. I'm sure. I am like certain that in 2003 or in 2004 or something like that, someone was just like, "Oh, this Sheik's too good. We gotta take her out of the game," kind of thing. And people were begging for, Melee 1.04. So like, oh, we gotta get rid of Sheik. So I'm sure Melee's already dealt with that, and now at this point, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But going back really quick on just kind of like Uncle Punch and like what it really means is it goes to like Kleba's point. It's like really, it is so many less inputs. I literally printed out two pieces of paper with all the 20XX inputs. And I just like had them right next to my CRT and like I taped them to the speakers on the side of it. And I'm like, this is how you do certain commands. Like these are your save states. This is how you go into frame by frame. And like I would just have to like, I'd do one thing and I'd look back over there and be like, oh, I literally bricked the console. It's like time to start over. And I'd have to turn the console off, turn it back on and be like, okay, time to start over again. Hopefully I don't hit D-pad 2 times in a row and turn this thing off again. It's like, there were so many ways that you could mess it up that like now it is hopefully slightly more idiot proof. But like if anyone wanted to grind stuff back then, that's exactly how it is. And going to Larfin's point really quick, it's like, I realistically think in the next couple months, there is going to be just a dump of people just being like, download this to figure out like this is the Wizzy pack. Like download how Wizzy plays, put it in your recordings. That's how you beat him. Like download the IBDW pack, download the Hungrybox pack. This is like all of this crazy stuff. We have so much potential for just analyzing player specific things and beating those player specific things, or it's the potential for that, or even making your own training packs. It's out of this world, and I'm so excited to see how that is.
Packs on Facebook. Yes, that'll be a black market for.
You can try
Hungrybox or like
you could try.
It's like one of those. I get these ads all the time on YouTube where it's like, boys, there's one simple trick to get any girl you want. It's gonna be like, Melee players, there's one simple trick to beat Hungrybox. Just pay us $500 and we got it. So anyways,
you guys can't deal with full hop. All right, side tangent. Y'all gotta just figure out how to deal with my full hops, because just full hop up air. All right. Enough of that. Or just play grounded. Just play grounded more.
I know it's rough. Trust me. That has been one of the biggest things I think I've gotten better with in the Fox matchup, is I've been learning how to deal with like full hop, and it's
hard.
It is hard. I'm learning that Fox's full hop is one of the best moves in the game. So.
I'm gonna lecture anyone who has I have a positive record on, because I can.
Yes.
No. But anyway.
Yeah.
I will absolutely lose.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of cool developments. I'm super cool to see, the Uncle Punch 3.0, and as someone who's, not as good, like, technical wise, or like, not like technical in Melee, just like, with all this stuff, like, it's hard for me, but like, I think it's super cool, and I think, it just keeps getting better, and just when you think, I think, we've gotten our best, this is what we got, it's just like, no, we got more. It's like, how does this keep happening? But it does, and I'm super happy, and I think I'm super excited for the documentary too, not just because I feel like it'll be really good for the scene, which it probably will. It's just like, I'm also just excited to watch it, because I think it's just cool, I love documentaries personally, and I think
I do too.
I'm just super excited.
It's gonna be a different audience, I think it's gonna capture, though, than the first one, because the first one was like, this is Super Smash Bros. Melee, and like this is kind of what it's about. This is kind of like, all right, about Melee, here are the storylines, and this is what happens. So it's a little different, and I'm curious if it's gonna have the same effect and the explosion that it did for the first one. But I think it'll be good regardless. Samex does a pretty good job.
It is interesting. I think that's a good point. Is it's just like, I know we're kind of going back to that documentary, but it's interesting because it's like, with the new doc, it is kind of like talking about the five gods rather than like this is Smash as a whole. So it's like it's interesting because it's like, but I still think it's necessary because I think one of the coolest things is knowing about just the esports scene, because like I've learned actually quite a bit about like League this year from one of my friends, and just because like one of the coolest things was just learning about the storylines, because I mean I'm terrible at League and I don't really like playing it, but like I like watching it now and I'm like, oh cool, I know this team is cool, or some of the history. And I think storylines are really good at drawing new people in because it gets people invested. People love a good story. They love seeing a narrative progress over time. I mean, that's one of my favorite things about Melee. One of my favorite new things is seeing Zane's rise to now this god, starting to get to Armada levels. It's like, oh my god. So, I mean, it's just so cool. And without storylines, I feel like storylines do so much for a game in general. And, because people are like, I want to be part of those storylines, I want to be, have the Mattchu storylines. So
that's right. I mean, people love it. People love that recognition.
Their own story,
Yep. People want the recognition. They want to be known. They want to be like seen, and it's really interesting to see how it's going to work out. I'm very excited to see it. I don't know much about it besides the trailer that I've seen, and I know that it kind of goes over the five gods.
Yeah, but there's like this cool excerpt. So yeah, I'm super duper excited. I think it's such a cool time for Melee right now, and I know Fluid said that like Ultimate wasn't a fair comparison, but yeah, I would say in comparison to other esports, like Melee's been really lucky this year. Yeah, sports only become interesting once you know about the players. Yeah, because if you're watching soccer and you're just seeing some dudes running around, you're like, okay, whatever. Or, I don't know why I said soccer, but, just like any sport, you learn about who the
You need the narratives.
Yeah,
you want narratives. You want, like, there to be, like, a story, like, outside of that. Like, people don't watch WWE usually for the great wrestling content. Usually people watch it because there's storylines and it is choreographed well, but like they don't watch it solely for the fact that people are hitting each other, kind of thing.
Right.
Like
it's
most of the time they right.
It's
and
theater.
Like it just exactly, it's like you can watch anything as long as it has a good narrative and the understanding of like why it's interesting and why it appeals to certain people. And I think Smash has such a crazy ubiquitous appeal to everyone. Everyone's played Smash. If you played a video game before, there's like almost certainly you've played Smash, you've seen Smash, you know who the characters are that you can relate to. There's no way that you don't relate to it in some way.
Yeah, for sure. I just think it's so good for the scene, and I think a lot of people might know about Melee, but might not know about the story of the five gods, and they might, because I mean we're well past that era now, and it's just like I feel like people are going to be like, holy crap, there's an era where it was just like...
Right.
I mean, to be fair, when I joined, it was right at the end of the Five Gods era, because I joined I started watching Melee right around, watching it live at least, when PPMD,
Apex 2013?
Like, when he, I don't know what I'm trying to say. When PPMD, retired, basically, as a comeback.
Okay.
So, 2016,
2015, 16, yeah.
I think...
Interesting.
Yeah. Pound 2016, I'm pretty sure, was the first tournament I watched. So, that was because Battle of the Five Gods, I think, was before that. So, I just missed PPMD.
Yeah, you just missed him.
I know.
Just missed him.
So,
well, it's cool because it's like some of the statistics. If you guys haven't, let me post this really quick. If you guys have not seen this page yet, it has some really cool statistics just about what the gods have achieved. In terms of a gods winning a major from 2009 to 2020,
I haven't seen this website. It's cool.
Only less than 10 majors have been won by anyone else. Otherwise, almost 140 of the total 170 majors have all been won by gods. That is crazy. I cannot think of many other games in a 10-year period where 5 people have won. Like if you look at
Right.
anything else, like no other game or sport has that dominance by 5 people. Even if you look at teams, like there's no baseball team that truly dominates for like that team or like that amount of time. Sometimes, I mean, there are fringe examples.
Yeah, I
it's
guess
very
you could
rare,
point
and
to,
like it only
the
happens.
Yankees or something.
Right, the Yankees or the Patriots or something like that. Like you can look at a couple teams, but like they're very rare.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's really interesting. It's really interesting to look at those numbers.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I think that's does it start next Friday or Saturday? I think it's next Friday.
So it
right?
starts
when it premieres.
It starts the 11th. It starts the 11th.
That is true.
So I'll just say it now. I will be having a viewing party. Just over, I'm sure a bunch of people will. I don't think I can restream it, but people are welcome to, watch it in some way and then just hang out and stream as we talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely want to do something for that.
I wonder how many viewers it's gonna have during premiere. I'm betting a lot. I bet you Ludwig's gonna be watching. I bet you.
I'm sure everyone will. I'm sure so many people, which is gonna be great.
I'm sure they're gonna tune in. So,
oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's. I'm just so excited, dude. Such a good time for Melee.
It's really good.
In comparison, with the pandemic. So relatively, it's really good. And hopefully, I'm hearing good things about some vaccine, so hopefully, we could get that and return to normal maybe halfway through next year.
Well,
who even knows?
To touch on that really quick, and I won't go into too much, too much on it because I don't have any, I have no idea how it's going to pan out. But with the UK approving, the vaccine, and they just kind of, their approval of it, it looks like they can start shipping out vaccines and preparing for that within the next week or so.
Cool.
And that's just like the first step. And obviously this is still early information, right? Mm-hmm. But if they can get stuff out in the next couple of weeks or so, and then if you're not familiar with it, the vaccine is set up in two steps. So it's you get the vaccine this week, like the whatever week you get the vaccine, and then 3 weeks later you go back in and you get the second follow-up vaccine. Of the second dose of it,
gotcha.
and then you're pretty much good.
Gotcha.
So realistically, from the time of receiving vaccine, it looks like you're around a month away from being okay, kind of thing, or COVID vaccine.
And that still doesn't, we still have to get everyone to have it. It's not like half of us get it, the other half don't. No. So it's gonna take a long time.
It's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while. Yeah, even if we got the vaccine this month, do not expect stuff back for quite a while. And it's you want to see how it affects people, see if there are repeat cases of COVID, if you can catch COVID twice, if the vaccine is effective, what's the efficacy of it, on a mass scale. There's a lot to look into it. So do not expect live events for still a little bit of time. Wait for another update, but
I guess. Yeah, while we talk about that real quick, I just want to ask, how do you think the attendance will be on the back, on the IRL events back? Because I feel, here's my theory. I feel like, when IRL events come back, when it's safe to do so, I feel like there's going to be an explosion in attendance because everyone's going to be fiending to get that IRL, and it might fall down a little bit, but I feel like at least the first couple weeks, there's just going to be so many people coming to locals.
I'm stoked. I definitely will make the first couple events back, no matter what I host. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna just go crazy with whatever it's gonna be. I don't know what that's gonna look like yet. I have no idea if it's gonna be in 2 months, if it's gonna be in a year. Who knows? But it's gonna be a cool event.
Oh yeah, dude.
I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it. I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of ideas. But there's I don't know. I think it's really complicated to even begin the topic of in-person events, because what does that look like? Let's look at it like responsible adults, right? Proof of vaccination is an almost certainty, right? If you need to prove you have your vaccine, you've taken both first and second iterations of it. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's the first step. Obviously, precautions, maybe cutting down on how many people can attend an event, what kind of events we're even allowed to host. I have no idea.
Right, yeah. That's one of those things, I'm you know, that's still a ways away. But I mean, in the meantime, now that we got, you know, Slippy and everything, it'll also be interesting to see the dynamic, you know, when IRL events do come back, like, how will Slippy play a role? Will there still be, like, a designated, like, net play weekly, or will there be, you know, like, will that kind of go to the side or, like, pair with another? I don't know.
I think there should be. In my opinion, I think the free net play weekly is the perfect segue for so many people to just get involved in the scene in any way, whether they just see a name or whatever. Like, I've just always been a tournament monster in general. I'll enter anything that I can get my hands on. I'm gonna get into that bracket. Dude. So like, I'll always enter a net play tournament or, you know, whatever.
Dude, I've totally, the Smash Roller was some of the best melee I've had. I mean, one time I had like a panic attack, but like, you know, that
Smash Roller's fun.
Dude, Smash Roller is so good, and I'm like so excited to play with like a group of like super good players now, because I'm so excited, you know, because I feel like I've improved quite a bit and I'm still improving. I still got a ways to go, but I'm so excited, and the Smash Roller is just so fun because it's like, you know, you're gonna get a lot of good melee and you know, well, obviously, you know, but that's still a long ways away, but like, yeah,
it's a while away, but realistically, like, of all events that could come back, that one could be closer to the front line of it, right? Like, of one of the first events that could, just in terms of scale of events.
True. And I feel like I've gotten lucky so many times. I've gotten into the Smash Roller
so many times.
Dude, like, I feel like when Smash Roller comes back, I feel like there's going to be like 100 people trying to come. So it's like,
I hope so.
My odds are going to be so.
I hope so. I hope so. Well, we'll see. We'll see in the future what it looks like.
100 people at Unshure's apartment. That'll go well.
Well, we're in a different apartment now, so.
Oh, right.
There might be a different scale of how many people, but it's interesting. Dude, I hope I really hope, just the side tangent from that actually, Ober, is I hope that when we start the new season, eventually, I hope that we start with a clean slate. I hope we don't have any PR. Like, we just kind of start from slightly, like, just almost a blank slate. Like, no PR is there. I'm really curious to see what it looks like.
Smash Roller in Paradise. We're going to the Bahamas.
I'll tell you this season 2 of Smash Roller will be good eventually. Season 2 will be good.
Yeah, I know. It's they had to, you know, film, I guess.
Funding was cut for season 1, unfortunately. NBC cut it, so you know, you get it. Yeah, I know, it's rough. We survived. Yeah.
So you got. I feel like I'm pretty much talked about what I want to talk about. In case you weren't here earlier, I do want to say again, 4-star Clash this week. The bracket I'll post right after this. Unsure posted it in chat earlier. But we do have Moki confirmed for this week, so we got good melee already. The stream is going to be returning as well, so it provides more legitimacy for the bracket, so I'm excited to do that. So just in case you missed that earlier, be sure to sign up, and we also got some cool stuff for the Discord in the works, so congrats to Unsure for the top 20, of course.
I forgot about that. Yeah, please, people, please. Talk to my agent. Talk to my agent, please.
So, yeah, I feel like I've talked about everything I've wanted to. Is there anything else, Unsure, that's pressing your mind? Or we could also open it up to viewer questions for a bit.
Yeah, if you guys have anything that you want to talk about or any questions, that's cool. But while you guys kind of have some of those questions, really quick, because I don't have a lot of information about it, is the SmashGG acquisition of Microsoft.
Oh yeah, you go ahead.
Microsoft acquisition of SmashGG. I think it's pretty interesting of kind of what that looks like for esports in the future. The fact that Microsoft just decides to grab SmashGG in general. Like, Challenge kind of dominated like that realm for years, and no one really was too interested in it. And then SmashGG kind of brought some more legitimacy to it. It's going to be interesting to see what Microsoft does in the next couple of years.
My question is... Oh, sorry, you finish.
You're fine. No, what I do know is that SmashGG did receive the most amount of funding, I think, possible for their like level of company. I don't know the exact terminology, but I know that they received a ton of funding early on. So I think that automatically kind of garners some good attention for them. And I think Microsoft or another big buy maybe was set up for a while. I don't know. It's really interesting to see how this was going, because there were talks that that Smash GG was just going to falter just completely. And anyone who has dealt with Smash GG in a tournament aspect or in a player aspect, it is a slog to deal with it. It is frustrating. It is frustrating a lot of the times. So I hope they make some good changes. And if not, I think an acquisition like this is really a great sign for any competitor in this realm, that they might want to kind of ramp up their game and really compete with Smash GG. Because if there are people interested in buying Smash GG, there are people interested in buying a competitor to Smash GG or eating that up in some way. So if someone does something that Smash GG is not, I think that's going to get some good attention. So I think I would like to be on the front line of something like that.
My one interesting question is, since Smash GG is now, I guess, owned by Microsoft, if there's a tournament sponsored by Nintendo, will they be like, no, we don't want Smash GG because it's with Microsoft? Or will it be like, well, it's just Smash GG, so it's like, whatever, I
think there's a lot in the air. There's a lot that we don't know about, but I really doubt that they would take a product and then fundamentally change who is allowed to use that product. It would be, right. I think that would go against their best interest of kind of like just how they're run. So I would be a little surprised. I'd be really surprised.
Yeah, I think so too. And then also you have to keep in mind, it's not just like Nintendo, it's also, Sony with, or I guess Street Fighter's only, no, I guess Street Fighter's on PC, I guess, but, like, there's a bunch of fighting games that are on PS4, so
it's on PlayStation, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean...
Something else you need to look at for that Smash GG acquisition is monetization. So we have not seen at this point Smash GG be monetized. Where are we going to see the money start to come into Smash GG?
Like, what do you mean by that? Could you elaborate on the monetization?
Yeah, so like if you look at any social media you have now or anything like that, or just anything, most things have ads or any way that they can get money, like maybe microtransactions or anything like that. Where Smash GG doesn't have any of that currently. I think they take a cut of paid tournaments or anything like that, but outside of that, I don't think they have any form of monetization. Like I don't think they're double dipping. Like you can't get like the Smash GG bonus skin, right? Like I can't get whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see how they do it. They don't steal user data.
Can't wait for the ad before I check into my tournament match on Smash GG. The 30-second, like 5 gum ad, 30-second Stadia ad. I'm so ready for that.
Yep. Like there could be a future too where it becomes even more inconvenience, where like in order to register to Smash GG, like you have to sign up for like a Microsoft account, or like you have to link a Microsoft account. Like there could be. Like there could totally be a future where we have some of these frustrations. Hopefully the team inside is smart enough to realize that like this would go against kind of like how people use the system and like what makes it nice, which is it's just easy. It's relatively easy to use, to register. Don't mess with it. But I don't know. The Smash GG team, they get a lot of flack, but they're all right. They're all right. They could be better, but they're not. They're not a Fortune 500 company, and hopefully with Microsoft getting them, maybe they become better.
I mean, there's a lot of valid criticism, but I think overall, Smash GG is probably the best thing in terms of like online like brackets created, and even just for local or just IRL events as well. So like, I do think it'll definitely change, and I think overall it's a good choice, but obviously it's Microsoft, so I'm always, I'm like, they've done some bad things with Rareware, and
I'm going back to all paper brackets when you come back for real life. It's all paper brackets.
Yeah, so we're going right back.
Yeah, I'm gonna destroy my computer. Yeah, destroying my computer. Paper brackets only.
Oh my god, that'll be fun. You can do that.
Yeah. I mean, there are some formats that I think we need. I literally need paper brackets for that I want to do. Like I was talking with Coin about potentially like weird formats like Swiss into triple elimination, or just some weird stuff that most like Challenge or Smash GG just can't handle.
What was that Arcadian format? It was like Duelist Kingdom.
Duelist Kingdom. Yeah, Duelist Kingdom was great. I
Dude,
loved that.
I wish the Arcadian happened like right now, because I feel like I'd do so much better. But
Yeah.
anyways,
I
that's
think
what's
that's
cool about the IRL events coming back, is like I want to prove that, during quarantine I've been working, I've been
good.
playing, so I want to come back and show the world. But I feel like I also like forget how to play IRL and just totally go like O2 or something. But
I think I wouldn't expect a crazy power difference.
probably not.
I don't. I don't think we'll see a crazy power difference of people that leveled up there. I think there are a handful of players who you'll definitely see a big change, and that maybe they don't even realize that they've gotten a lot better. But I think you'd be surprised if you're playing against good players, pretty much, really utilizing Slippy rather than just hanging out in unranked. It's like you're gonna get a lot better just because that's how it works.
That's just been me recently. I realized, wait a second, unranked. Like, I think
You're
it's been
playing
like a
bots with
month
alright
that I
DI,
was like,
yeah.
unranked just sucks. So I just like every night I'm just DMing. Like, I have like 5 or 6 practice partners where I'm just like melee.
Yep.
So
Good. Good.
Anyways, enough about me. Any viewer questions, I guess, while we're here? If we're done talking about Microsoft, if you have any other thoughts.
Ober, you will never be allowed into the Arcadian again.
I know.
Just too good. You should have won the first time. Then I would have really been able to ban you. But
yeah.
yeah. If anyone has any other questions or anything to talk about, I think that pretty much covers it. Maybe what you'd like to see out of the Discord, if you have any ideas. It ran too late. Oh, wow, you played too much melee. Complaining about playing too much melee. Come on. That's the best part about it. Should have won more. Should have won faster. Should have won faster. I know. It went about the same. I think realistically, since you did doubles, I think realistically it went about the same time as a Hold That L. Yeah. I don't think it went much longer, but I think you had the ability to play much longer than a Hold That L, which is the difference. Like, especially if you did doubles. It was a lot of melee. It was definitely a lot of melee. But I think you only had to win, what, like 3 over? 4 over? Before you qualified? I don't remember exactly what it was, if you were like a good player in order to do it.
Ober? No, I thought Ober wasn't in the duels
5.
tournament.
Okay.
Oh,
he was. Yep.
Oh, he was. Okay. Are you guys think you could win a set versus Zane's Roy? No.
I have in the Smurf tournament that happened, I had a very close set with his Roy. I took the first game, and then every other game was like last stock, except for the last one was not. It was like 2 stocks.
Almost
but it was
tested.
Close.
Don't test.
I almost tested him, and that was a Fox. And then as a Fox, I was very happy with that.
You should be, man.
Because then he went on to beat like Kalindi and Ginger like the next week. It was crazy.
I know. So. Yeah, Zane's crazy, dude.
I'm just happy I took a game. So.
For sure.
Yeah, he's so good. He's so good.
Man, I'm just personally having problems right now where I get to people in bracket, I get to like winners round 3, and I'm like, oh shoot, like these are like good players.
You can't think like that.
I know, and then like my gameplay just goes out the window because like I start out, I win the first neutral opening, I'm like, I can do this, and then it's just like,
that's how you
so
fail.
Bad. I know.
Yep, that's how you fail.
But hey, I'm entering more tournaments, I get more experience,
Good.
So I'm getting there. So that's where I'm at personally as a player, and
I think that's good.
So, yeah, I don't think I could take a set off of Zane's Roy. I mean, he's so damn good versus Falco. I mean, it's just insane. He knows everything, so.
He's really good.
Yeah.
I think, I guess, at least the last thing that I really have to touch on is I'm just definitely looking for more people that are willing to be involved in some sort of, willing to help. As a community member, you're involved with CLM already. Like Mattchu, a great asset, right? He's been involved with CLM for a while, runs the Discord, does a great job, handles the tournaments. And I guarantee you, if a new player started up today and had a question, he'd be able to answer it, kind of thing. I'm looking for more people like that, especially with Discord or just in Facebook in general. Or like if I have a new player and they're like, hey, I have Falco and I have some questions, or like, hey, I literally don't know what to do. If you are someone that wants to be involved, just send me a message. Like I've had a handful of people already message me that you want to be a good community leader. Please just step up.
Thank you. Thank you. We're trying to get but it's hard because it's more of a commitment, and sometimes you have to take some extra time. But like I think it's totally worth it, and like
it is.
I mean, if I could do it again, the Discord server, I'd totally do it again. I mean, I feel like it's been such a good thing for me personally as well, just because I feel like it's really helped me kind of feel more confident in myself, get a lot more leadership skills and stuff like that. And so, like, I think, yeah, I mean, I think having more community leaders is good, and having people to look up to, especially, like, new players, because they're gonna not know who to turn to, you know? So, what are the clip notes? Yeah, you were gone earlier. I'll probably upload this to my YouTube. You can also check out the VOD. I think it was one of the earlier things we talked about.
Yeah, the biggest changes over are React roles on the Discord server, and then just a more streamlined user experience for when a new person joins the Discord, which is like a welcome page. It has an FAQ and then a set your roles. That's pretty much it. Otherwise, it's just kind of trimming the fat of everything else. Everything's thinned down pretty well. And then integration of some more administration stuff on CLM. Where it's like the TO discussion. If you're a TO in CLM, there's a way for you to talk with people, like other TOs. There's a PR panel discussion so that, you know, they don't have to go through Facebook. They can have all the information through the Discord. Everything's all there. It is already on iTunes. Steve Jobs has already approved it. It was crazy. It was his final role. He said in a couple of years, there's going to be an hour and 15-minute podcast.
By Mattchu.
Approve it. Yeah.
He called us Mattchu and Unsure as well.
That's right. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's on Spotify, iTunes, all this stuff. So, I mean, I'll post this to my YouTube. So, I mean, if you want to listen to it, obviously, feel free. But I feel like I'm done, unless, you know, you got anything else, or if any, you know, last minute thoughts.
I think that's it. I felt like I had something else.
I guess remember it like 10 minutes after.
I'm sure I will. I guess really I this is something I was talking with my roommate Cadence. You guys know him. So I was talking with Cadence about it, kind of like really embracing the more social side of like Melee. Like what makes Melee really cool is like the social aspect and the competitive side of it. Like how do we do both of those? And I think the CLM changing, like the CLM Discord changing, fostering a better welcoming community is like that first step of really embracing a better social side of CLM. Hopefully this means like more community outings. Like when we come back, I know that we were planning on something so cool. There was going to be the, what was it? Unsure, like dad takes the kids to Six Flags. Like before COVID
Papa
hit.
Unsure,
Like,
yes.
yeah, I was like, we were all going to get in a bunch of cars and I was going to buy all the tickets to go to Six Flags. Like stuff like that, just like hanging out where it doesn't necessarily have to be Melee. And kind of like addressing at the root of like why it's been so competitive. So I think like Chicago is really hungry for validation and like really hungry.
I call the booster seat.
Yeah, you get it.
Yes.
But I think like Chicago competitively wise is really hungry to be noticed and be like recognized as being like a good area. So we just are naturally like, we just want to keep competing and like beating and getting better. Whereas if you look at the regions that are already pretty established and very good, they have more social aspects just because they're already pretty established and don't need to work as hard to be recognized as being good competitive players. And so that's just kind of like the thought that I had, like why Chicago is kind of like that in general, like what regions are social. If you look at it's MDVA is probably the most noticeable one. New York is pretty noticeable like in that aspect. Like if you just talk to any of the people from there, they're like, oh yeah, we're just always hanging out, like no matter what. Florida, not as much from what I've been told, but maybe you have some better, you know, more insight into that over. I know South Florida actually is they're pretty cool with each other. NorCal for sure. I don't know, Joseph, I think you can attest to that, but it's just interesting. It's interesting. Definitely an environment I really want to foster going forward.
Yeah, it's also hard. I guess I was gonna say what Ober just said. It's like the bigger a region grows, obviously there's gonna be like cliques or like certain groups, like subgroups that join. So I guess you know the smaller communities tend to be more tight knit because everyone knows everyone, and that's how I feel about CLM for the most part. I feel like I know everyone, but it, you know. So I mean, I think one of the best parts about Melee for me is just going to tournaments and just getting to be social, you know. I get to see all the homies and we're all just happy we're playing Melee, you know, and it's super cool to just talk with people and play one of my favorite games. So like I think the social aspect's so cool, and that's why I also love super majors, just because like the regional like pride, like going to Genesis this year and having like my region cheer me on during pools is magical, because it's just like you're all just cheering for each other. You're like, let's go Chicago, because you're all rivals at home. But then when you're all together there in the region, you're like, all right, this is it. We're Chicago, you know? So it's so cool. And I love it. I love it. I miss it so bad. So
it's cool. And I mean, like, imagine that. Imagine that, like, even like breaking it down to like a more local level, right? Like getting people that excited about like just playing in general. Not even like,
yeah.
you know, pooping on the guy that like next to him that they're playing, but just like building up people in general and building those better social just functions. And it's not even like playing. It's literally like just hanging out with people. Like, hey, let's all just go to the movies one day.
Dude,
So,
thank you, Fluid. You're like you're the guy who's giving me water and stuff. Like,
yeah,
freaking
like,
Coach
he needs
Fluid,
water.
man.
He needs water.
I
Like,
know,
all right, you got
dude,
this.
my
You got
hand was
this.
shaking when I picked up the water. I was like, brrr. So I
You
know.
played well. You played well. There was like that fox. That was good. That was
Yeah,
good.
I know. So I'm fiending to do that. So I mean,
Good.
man. Anyways, I'm reminiscing and rambling too much.
Yeah,
But
I think that's it on my end. If anyone has any last questions, I'll answer them. But otherwise, I think we're good here.
yeah, thank you for coming on. I'm sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I messaged you tonight because I'm like, you know what, I really want to do this. I've been wanting to for a while, and I felt like we had so much to talk about. And
Yeah.
so I'm happy. I love talking, obviously. So I mean, I'm always down to do something in the future. But I'd say I think waiting a little bit until there's a lot more news and stuff. You know.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it's every week, we'll be like, so you know. So
Well, it's okay, because I mean, even something like that is kind of cool too, though. Even if we were to do like a weekly recap, which is something that I want to start bringing up, if there are people that are involved in the community that want to do like more of like a social outreach to CLM, I'd love to set something up like that, put them in that kind of role, like, you know, just literally like post on CLM like weekly. This is what happened. This is what this player did in this bracket, or this is who we got to look out for. Like, they're doing well. I'd love to see that.
that
Like,
would be super cool.
That's so cool. But
Yeah.
I don't know many people who are interested in something like that.
There's a lot of cool ideas in the works, guys, and obviously if you ever want to be involved, message Unsure, message myself. You know, we're all trying to get the scene to be better, you know, especially with the potential influx of a bunch of new players. I think it's going to be super cool, and we just want to make it the best place, you know, because I felt great about the community, and I want other people to have the same experience.
Right.
Better even.
Last thing, going off of that, it's like not only do we want to make it like good, but we want to make it safe. And I've definitely talked with like the other TOs of Chicago, and it's like the issues that were brought up months ago have not, you know, been forgotten, right? Like we're continuously working on some of these issues, and just really trying to make it the most welcoming environment and safe for everyone. So hopefully going forward, you know, coming back into the IRL events, we should hopefully be able to see, you know, kind of the beginning of what that looks like in terms of just, you know, just how it just a better environment overall.
Totally. I mean, safety's so important, and especially after this fiasco that was this summer, you know, safety is a super important issue, and I feel like we're taking good steps, and obviously there's always stuff we can do, and we'll continue to, at least on my end, I'll keep trying to make it as safe as I can, make sure I'm doing everything I can in my power, and I'm sure, you know, there's so many other people that want it to be safe as well, and I think we're being proactive is much better than being reactive in this situation, so as long as we're
that's what we want.
taking preventative steps to make sure this type of stuff doesn't happen, or if it does, you know, people have adequate resources to
Correct.
Report it, and, you know, feel comfortable talking about it, you know, because obviously people need to feel comfortable and not feel like if they talk about it, they're gonna be like, well, this player's really good, like, we don't want him to leave, you know.
We don't want that.
Right.
Nope.
So,
Nope.
I mean, that's it for me. I super enjoyed it. Thank you, Unsure, again, for coming. Always
Absolutely.
a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Anything you want to say before we wrap up here?
No, thanks everyone. I'll see you later.
Thank you so much. I'll post this later to my YouTube. I'll also post the bracket right after this. So thank you all, and I'll see you Saturday for 4-star Clash with Moki.
See you
Bye,
guys.
guys.